Good evening, Mr. Bond fans, and welcome once again. So, if you're anything like me, you have probably acquired a certain amount of James Bond memorabilia over time. So to cut a long story short, I'm from Yorkshire, which is in northern England, and a few years ago I moved to London, and because I could only take so much stuff with me, I had to leave a whole load of my James Bond crap up at my family's home, and recently my family are moving, and so when my mum went into the attic and was like, what the hell do we even have up here, and then found an assortment of boxes containing various pointless bits of James Bond memorabilia, she, decided to bring it down, and I'm quite excited because I'm being reunited with things that I haven't had in the home with me for many years, so I thought it might be interesting to go through some of this stuff on camera and talk about how worthwhile some of it was worth keeping. First of all, not fitting in a box exactly, but I have three pretty great hardcover art books, so James Bond movie posters from, I think this will be pre-Die Another Day. Yeah, the last poster in here is from The World Is Not Enough. I've always loved this poster, by the way. I really need to make a video about my top James Bond posters. And then we have Bond Girls Are Forever. Beautiful cover. And again, this one's very similar. It's got a lot of really fantastic bits of photography. Really cool book, but again, most of the stuff that I've got here is sort of from between the year 2000 to the year 2005, so a lot of it is just like this. There is no sign of Daniel Craig, and Pierce Brosnan is often the focus, being the Bond at the time, of course. Anyway, this is James Bond: The Legacy, which I think I actually have two copies of this, because I think I had one at my mum's house and then one at my dad's house, but this is, similarly high quality Bond film details, analysis, again, some cool pictures there. And then we have, which I'm actually very excited about talking about, 007 Spy Files magazine, which was my absolute favorite thing when I was I guess I must have been 12 years old. I don't think Die Another Day was out at this point, but this was a magazine aimed at, kids my age, 10, 11 years old, I guess, and it has all that, classic kid stuff like puzzles, but then they have little writing segments on James Bond, on some of his missions. This was really cool, actually. I don't know if there's ever been a James Bond magazine like this. Recently, obviously, do kids even buy magazines these days? But my absolute favourite part of this whole magazine was the spy secrets bit, where they would tell you how to be a spy in your everyday life. So if you really want to annoy your parents, kids, you can cover the floor in talcum powder to see if anyone has stepped through your door to your room. I must have annoyed my parents so much by trying out some of this crap. I also love how it takes them so many issues before we get to one that doesn't have Pierce Brosnan on the cover. Issue 7 is when we finally get to one without Brosnan on the cover. And then quite bizarrely, in the same file, I saw it prudent to keep a couple of magazines. So this from, I think, 2008 is the Goldfinger cover for the Empire movie magazine, the 500 greatest movies of all time. Yes, it says 100 covers to choose from, so I must have found this and thought yeah, I'm keeping that. And then, even weirder, I found it prudent to keep the TV Times magazine from 16th to the 22nd of November 2002, with Sean Connery on the cover. I wonder what they... Oh yeah, because there was this... It was all building up to this program, I think it was on ITV, where, people would call in and you would vote for your top Bond moment of all time, and I of course called in and voted for the St. Petersburg tank chase in GoldenEye. Oh, and I love this, there was a Bond competition and you could watch Sean Connery on this LG probably 32-inch TV. My god, they don't make them any bigger than that. Okay, so that's the books. Now on to box number 1. Let's see what we got in here. World Is Not Enough, N64 game. Truth be told, I never actually played this when I was a kid, and I bought the game not too long after I started doing this channel, actually, in like 2009, something like that, so I'm looking forward to playing it someday. Then I have a couple of DVDs here where, yeah, these are the ones that the director, Guy Hamilton, signed. We have the Essential James Bond, new edition including The World Is Not Enough. I'm pretty sure I had the updated version of this with Die Another Day in as well, but this was, I used to love this kind of stuff, because please bear in mind that when I was buying all this stuff, it was like before the internet, so I had to, so this was like, you know, where you would go for different opinions and analysis about different Bond films, and even at like 11, 12 years old, I was really into that. I like this one because they actually, you know, had opinions. It wasn't just a rundown of everything, it was every now and then a little opinion would slip in there. Like, I think they do qualify The Man with the Golden Gun as the weakest of the Bond films to date. The Man with the Golden Gun represents the series at an artistic nadir. Wow. So then we have a Pan cover, Live and Let Die. Then we have some flyers from the Bond James Bond exhibition in 2002. This was at the Bradford Media Museum, and it was so cool. It was the first time I'd ever been to anything like that, where they had like Odd Jobs hats, and they had so many of these props, and then they had a little like chunk which was supposed to represent the Golden Gate Bridge with like a green screen on the back, and then you could go in and then you could act out your James Bond Zorin fight. Another book, The Art of Bond. Funnily enough, I don't remember oh wow, okay, there's some sticker for the Corgi Bond car collection. You know what, I don't really remember this one very well. When was this published? Like some of Ken Adams' work, which is really cool. Okay, so this is a crazy one. Like, this is a really weird thing that I have, where this guy is an actor called Chris Bison? I'm not quite sure you'd pronounce it. He used to be in Coronation Street, which is a soap here, and he had some, like, charity function that a friend of my, you know, like, my stepmom's went to, and they knew that I really liked James Bond, so at this charity function, they gave me this, which is, like, such a weird thing, because it's just like got like the menu for this like charity gala or ball or whatever it was that he was hosting, and then the itinerary. Let's see what they did. Well, Tattinger Champagne Martini reception, very nice. And then they have entrance by 007 James Bond. I can't imagine they will have had an actual Bond actor turn up. Oh, charity chairman Mr. Peter Dickinson introduces Bond girl Eunice Gayson. Oh, that's pretty cool. They've got here in the itinerary, Dancing to Orange. What is that? What is orange? And how does one dance to it? Oh, I got lots of little things here. Okay, postcard from my grandparents when they were in Thailand, and of course went to James Bond Island. Everything or Nothing Game Boy Advance game, absolutely loved that. I hope my Game Boy Advance is going to be somewhere in these boxes, actually. I would really love to play that game again. Another very interesting cover from Pan, Dr. No. I have two of the very same Goldfinger Pan books. I kept some tickets. Oh, well, this is a ticket to see North by Northwest in October 2006 at the Cubby Broccoli Cinema in the National Media Museum. Oh, I got the ticket to the James Bond exhibit. Ah, that's awesome. Okay, I have more Pan books. Actually, this one's pretty cool. That's a really nice cover, actually. I have The Little Book of Bond. I don't know what this is. What is it? A collection of quotes, I guess. Oh, I've actually got the passes to the James Bond exhibit. You would like, yeah, this is your agent card, and you would like go up to screens and then swipe it, and then you would be able to like access certain things. And I think there were like games and stuff, and there was like a Bond website. And again, at the time, internet was new, computers were still kind of exciting. I have several decks of playing cards. And then we come to the exciting bit, because I kept the tins for the 007 Spy Files cards. So that was like the little tin, and then you had this, which was the bad boy, which contained all of the, like, you have locations here, and then vehicles, Q branch villains, and allies. And so you just had these like little trading cards. I only had a couple of friends who like got this magazine, and I think eventually we worked out that once we were all subscribed, we would get like the same cards every time. So to complete your set was actually quite difficult when everyone in your town is just getting the same ones. But I used to really like these, and they have like these little rankings on the side for like job, fighting skills, intelligence, loyalty, style, which is interesting, and usefulness. I'm quite intrigued by this because they give Bond a 99% usefulness rating, so there is that occasional 1% where he's about as useful as a chocolate teapot. This is very unfair. Moneypenny, 67% usefulness rating. I'm just going through them. I'm curious to see who the least useful Bond ally is. Tiger Tanaka's got a good usefulness rating, 97%. Yep, so our least useful Bond ally is Sheriff J.W. Pepper, and I find that to be quite accurate, actually. Okay, so next, we have a pretty big box of I guess this is like all the old DVDs. So yeah, these are the special edition DVDs. I watched these to death. And I loved it, like, they all form like a 007 logo along the spine. These things had really cool menus as well, and they had these nice little booklets. You just don't get this level of detail in DVD releasing anymore, home media releasing anymore. And then we also have here something that I can't even play anymore, but the old VHS collection. And so that means that this video cassette of Moonraker was the very first Bond film I ever watched, like this exact video. It's like opening up the Ark of the Covenant. I don't know if my face is gonna like start melting any second now. Funny how you can be so like kind of nostalgic over like a video cassette, but I don't know, this is, you know, this is where it started for me, so that's yeah, it's just kind of weird to think about it that way, I guess. Okay, and we have the final box, which I think is all my old Corgi Bond cars. Oh man, I'm gonna have to like really figure out where I can put these. I remember there was a shopping mall up north, and there was like one stall, and they would always have these, and like every week I would go, and hopefully I would have saved up enough money. Hopefully I would have saved up the $7.99 to actually buy a new one. And then, of course, I have also been reunited with my Golden Gun prop replica, which, believe it or not, was staying up north this whole time. I've been separated from this baby for so long, but now we're together again, so you expect to see this a lot in my videos from now on. So that was quite fun, and now I have to find places to store all this stuff. So, I hope some of that was interesting for you guys, and what are your Bond collections like, actually? Like, my collection is certainly nowhere near the level that some Bond fans are. But I'm curious to know, like, what do you guys have? Like, I'm assuming that we all probably have, like, a box or two of James Bond stuff, so I'd be really, like, interested to know what everyone else's is like. And so with that, I'm going to go and play with all these cars again, and until next time, so long for now, Bond fans.